Chaz, today's show is brought to listeners by two loving sponsors, athleticgreens.com/surf and ebay.com/sneakers.
Get them both.
eBay's only going to be here, I think, through the end of this month, but they'll probably be back in May. And then athleticgreens.com/surf recently signed on, and that's our portal that supports this show. But if you want to avoid any of these pesky commercials, you can just become a subscriber for $5 a month.
Just get merch.
surfsplendorpodcast.com. Look for the subscribe button. You get first access to merch, which launched last week, and you get an ad-free listening experience.
Exciting days.
All right, on to today's show.
Oof.
But it's all right. All right, Chaz, we're back.
Back again.
To talk about Caio Abelli and Dave
Project
Prodan.
Abelli. Wow. We
Project
did
Prodan, Project Abelli.
it. We did it. We did both of them.
What are we even doing? It's gotten so convoluted at this point.
The Project Abelli?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing.
We need to outline it.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Last week, brought it up on the show. Much excitement. I mean, that stinking guy who sent that in, genius. Genius from Portland, Oregon.
Totally.
Much excitement. So we started it. I reached out to Caio, and Caio hit me back. So I was thinking, I had no idea what the nose cost for a year. It costs a lot more, apparently, than we could have raised. But he said, or maybe we could have raised it, but
we're not going to discuss what it actually costs, right?
no.
Okay.
No. But so then he gave me a tiered system. He said, he was, Caio, man of the people, was excited about it, thought it was a awesome, as long as sort of it wasn't a thumb into the eye of the World Surf League, which I told him, no, this is not at all. This is just, you are the man of the people. We want you to ride for us. Anyhow, so he gave me like a tiered thing of what we could do, like where the sticker could go on his board for one event or for the whole year or whatever. And it just basically made the simplest sense to get Newcastle for $15,000. So one event on the nose, $15,000.
We could do the nose.
The nose.
The nose is that price.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
But the original concept, what I'm saying when I say it got a little bit convoluted, the original concept that the listener pitched was more of turn Caio into a NFT.
Yes.
Which I didn't understand NFTs.
Yes.
And I've spent the week learning a little bit about it. And on Instagram, that was kind of the feedback too. So I didn't get that last week necessarily. My thought last week was more what you just said, which is let's just raise money to support Caio and get the podcast sticker is representative of the time that the people stood up, got together, and funded a professional surfer.
Yes.
Right? And that's still relevant, and that's actually what we're doing.
Completely.
There is a GoFundMe set up right now, and people are contributing to it. And but as we discussed it through the week, there's a bigger opportunity. There's a bigger movement happening here and a bigger opportunity than getting a sticker on one board for one event.
There's a full way of, I think, commodifying or turning pro surfers into a market here. And I'm still fuzzy too on exactly how, because the surfer, him or surf herself, has to benefit, which I guess NFTs, every time it sells, they get a percentage, right?
They work that into the contract.
Yeah, it works in where it's part of, I don't even know how it works, but yeah, every sale of that NFT. So I guess the surfer we would have to create NFTs for surfers is what we'd have to do. And then we would take a percentage, I suppose, of every NFT sale, but then the surfer would also get a percentage and et cetera, et cetera.
So the way that I envision this, and again, this is a much bigger plan, bigger business model, bigger paradigm shift for all of surfing, but it's timely. It's actually overdue. It needs to happen. It's a more sustainable model. It's a more engaging model for the fan base, all that sort of stuff. But we won't be able to implement it. It'll take time to put together.
Sure.
So right now, kind of this initial groundswell movement, the proof of concept will be this GoFundMe
Caio
that is
Abelli.
currently up and running right.
Well, and it's still, I think, is exactly, what we set out to do, which is what we're doing, which is, I mean, you said it. It's Caio is representative of the hardworking, everyday surfer.
Right.
And so to put the grit on his nose is, Yeah, that's what we're shooting for. Short term.
Proof of concept, and then lay out the bigger business model.
Yes.
So let's talk about that bigger business model. Do you want to try to, and again, there's, as almost with every show, listeners are going to know more than you and I do. And they're going to send their
trillion%.
They're going to send their feedback this week, and we'll come back next week with even more information. Do you want to try to explain NFTs, or should I?
I mean, go for it.
Non-fungible token.
Yep.
Is what it stands for. And it's essentially a collectible. And through blockchain, you can create a, let's say, a code that makes it unique. It validates it. It's a certificate of authenticity, right?
And what makes it
unreplicable?
Unreplicable, like anything can be forged, right? Money can be forged. Art can be forged. Anything can be forged, except NFTs cannot be forged.
So while to the layperson, myself included, it seems like this is the easiest thing to forge, because that piece of art, Beeple art that sold for $65 million, it's just a JPEG.
Yeah.
I could just screenshot that and replicate it.
But it doesn't, having the art is not what's important. It's having that code.
Exactly. So if you own the authenticity code, just like with Bitcoin, it's just a serial number.
Exactly.
And that's why the, what are those brothers from the Facebook movie?
Oh, the ones played by the now canceled Armie Hammer?
Yeah.
The
Winklevi, who invested heavily, they literally printed all the codes out on pieces of paper, cut them into tiny strips, and then drove across America, putting them in safety deposit boxes in various banks, because that was the safest way, essentially, for nobody to steal them.
Yeah.
Because if they just put them in a house, in their safe in their house, somebody could steal the safe and then own all their Bitcoin. So while it seems ethereal and while it seems kind of out there and hard for me to understand, it's actually more nuts and bolts than green money is.
Sure.
Like green money, it's all just fake anyways. We're all just pretending or agreeing that it all has value.
Yeah.
Stocks, we're just agreeing these things have value.
Yeah.
You know? So this is just a logical extension of that, but even less easy to replicate.
Precisely. And then back to the NFTs, which are collectibles that, once again, I mean, there's a way in, I hate using words like disrupted marketplace and things like that, but in terms of artists actually getting paid and continuing to get paid off their work, I think NFTs are phenomenal, right? Which is, people can sell that piece of art for 60 grand. Somebody could flip it for 120 and he still gets a piece of that 120 grand sale.
Every time he gets 10% per transaction.
Which is, how awesome is that?
So this actually is just a logical way. This makes perfect sense. The more I kind of looked into it, the more I realized, oh, this isn't a fad. I think this is around for a long time to come. I mean, because of course we want to assign value to Jack Dorsey's first tweet. Is something that somebody commodified. You know, and Super Bowl highlights, things like that we're all participating in. Of course, somebody would want original ownership of that. And just as with any of the artwork, let's say paintings, Van Gogh, whatever, it's not that everybody agrees that's the most beautiful piece of artwork ever, or the most beautiful painting. You're not getting $65 million out of gratification from looking at that painting. What you're getting is, we all agreed that this is rare. It's a one-of-a-kind thing. And for some reason, through a lot of network effects, we just agreed that this had more value than another piece of art. And so that's kind of the same thing. Jack Dorsey's first tweet, we all agree that has value because of what Twitter has done in that amount of time. And so, I wish I could own that.
I have beautiful pieces of art out there in the marketplace. I have 2 cakes, David Lee Scales. 2 baked beautiful cakes. They're 3D renderings. They spin very lovingly on a carousel forever. And the cakes bring with them things. You buy the cake, it's the green cake of trust and maybe the blue cake of life, I do believe. So you can buy, I used to bake out of spite, David Lee. When I baked Elo that cake, it wasn't out of good intentions, a good heart. I was being spiteful.
What'd you put in it?
I mean, it was a good cake, but it was still baked with spite.
Wasn't poisoned.
Not with love. But these cakes are baked with love, and they will pass love around the world. I've changed. I'm a changed man.
People bake like TLC into their cakes.
Yeah.
Yours is
just love. Love.
SL.
Yes,
C?
exactly. SLC.
Spite, love, and care. Tender spite and care.
Yeah, but have you been to Rarible or any of the sites where you buy NFTs? Yeah, so you buy, I mean, my cakes are on Rarible. You can go buy it if you want.
Is there a price attached to it?
Yeah, there's $50. But see, the beauty is, so it's $50 per cake. But the thing is, you buy the cake and you sell the cake, then you also make money on my cake forever.
If somebody buys it from me.
Yes, but all you have to do, I mean, this whole experiment, right, is fun because what has value and what can you convince someone else has value, right?
Or what does the marketplace decide as value?
Sure. So my cakes.
So, okay. Well, I've got so many thoughts.
Rarible.com/Chaz Smith. There's my cakes.
But are these, you said they're videos of a cake spinning.
Yes.
Is it the actual cake that you baked? Or is it a digital rendering of a cake?
It's a digital rendering of a cake.
Got it.
But in that cake...
Did you digitally render the cake?
I did not digitally render the cake.
Okay.
Yeah. I am sort of like, who's the artist who has everybody make his art?
All of them?
Koons. Yeah. I'm one
Jeff
of those.
Koons?
Yeah.
I mean, even Michelangelo didn't lay on his back painting the Sistine Chapel.
It's true.
He had a bunch of students.
It's true. But yeah, so my cakes are valued at $50, but yeah, they're minted. So you mint an NFT, David.
Right.
And the minting costs money.
Right.
So I'm even selling my cakes for cheaper than the minting price. And the minting price goes up and down, oddly.
Okay.
So there's certain times of the day that it's more expensive to mint than others, depending
As
on
with
how
any
many
other
people
market.
are minting. Did you know also that NFTs are somehow environmentally super damaging?
No. How is that even possible?
The computing power it's taking to create these, whatever, their blockchain thing is so great that it's like massive greenhouse gas comes from just running the computers that are making NFTs.
So if you don't fully
Minting
buy
NFTs.
into the fact that NFTs are always going to go up in value,
Yeah.
what you should really be investing in is the server farm that is generating what you just said.
Exactly.
Which I guess
People are, I'm sure.
and those are in China. A lot of those are built in China next to energy factories, essentially, where there's a lot of land and a lot of cheap labor, slave labor, essentially. But that would really be the wise investment, would be all the support system that is around this market.
I mean, that's the thing though. Like you buy one of my cakes for $50, right? Like whoever knows, somehow something could happen where all of a sudden that cake is worth 5 million. I mean, it's like, what's his name? Trevor Andrew, did we talk about him last week?
No.
Trouble Andrew. He's a Gucci Ghost. He was a snowboarder and then did graffiti, did a Gucci Ghost around town. And then Gucci actually had him do a collaboration. So he did a whole line with Gucci Ghost. But then he just sold his NFTs for I think in one day he made $15 million, so went from snowboarder to, street artist guy who the thing with Gucci is cool, but it's not like life-changing money. And then all of a sudden he's a multimillionaire based on NFTs. So you never know. That's the fun gamble about it. I think you never know what's going to happen with one.
And if you're early in enough with anything, with the stock market, the cake equivalent is probably some company you and I had never heard of that was originally traded on the stock market.
Yeah.
But it just grows in value. The entire market goes up.
Stinking Bitcoin.
Right.
It cost less than $1 for a Bitcoin, I think, when they first came out. And now your one Bitcoin, 58 grand, give or take.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yep.
So as it relates to surfers, the marketplace that I kind of envision, or that we've kind of been talking about throughout the week, is create a platform where each surfer has a value.
Yes.
Almost like a stock market would be an easy equivalent.
But I think you couldn't. I think you would have to, because on an NFT, you can also go straight bidding system where you don't assign value.
Let the market decide.
You let the market decide what they're worth, but you would have to do it in collaboration with the surfer. I guess you wouldn't have to.
We don't have to. We were talking about that throughout the week. I don't think we do have to, but I think that it would be smart to build them into profit share.
I mean, I would imagine that they would want to, the ones who were smart would be driving the price of their NFT up and then profiting off it, right? And so then they would be talking about it. So I think you'd have to do like a 50-50 split.
Not 50.
You don't think so? What does a surfer get?
10%. 20? Same thing as Beeple.
The surfer's getting 10%.
Yeah.
But you have to...
Per trade.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, I guess if their trades are going nuts.
No, this is, again, the original concept for all of this was power to the people. This is the people taking back surfing.
Sweet. Okay.
By the way, we're not replacing the sticker that's on the nose of their board.
No.
By all means, go out and get other sponsorship. And this only elevates their awareness.
Well, this is my curiosity with Project Abelli also, is our crowdfunding his nose? And I think it totally is. It is way better for Kaio's, not his image, but like all of a sudden people are talking about him. He emailed me and said people came up to him on the beach in Australia and we're talking about Project Abelli. So it's already out there and we've just gotten started.
I'll get back to the platform and how it's going to, but tell us more about Kaio's response to this whole movement.
Yeah.
You reached out to him last week. You said, and he gave you the price list.
Yep. I reached out and he gave me a laughing email and said, haha, this sounds funny. Sure, I'm interested. Let's talk about it. So then I sent him kind of a, this is what we were thinking. Just wanted to get, how much would it cost? Or, if you would be cool with it, how much would it cost to get, your nose? And then he gave me price list. And then he hit me back and was worried that it was 15 grand for the year. And I assured him, no, 15 grand for Newcastle.
I don't even want it to be that formal.
Yeah.
I want him to understand this. We're not trying to apply the old paradigm to what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're not going to sign a contract. We're not going to make you commit to anything.
No.
We want you to know that we want to support you.
The people want you, Kyle.
And we would love if you, as a act of reciprocity, put this sticker on the nose of your surfboard. But if you have another offer from another sponsor, by all means, take that money too.
Yeah.
And we don't want to compete with that. We want you to make more money than Gabriel Medina this year. And so if our sticker ends up on your board, awesome. But we just want to wrench some of the power back away from that old paradigm. So through the DMs, oh, by the way, Project Abelli is the Instagram.
Yep.
You can link to the GoFundMe from there if you want to support. He DM'd me on Project Abelli's Instagram and he's like, my manager, we're concerned about, we're trying to work these other deals and how does that affect? And I was like, rest assured, this only elevates the other deals. This only brings more awareness.
Completely. There's
no conflict of interest. We're not
taking a category. There's no podcast category that he's trying to fill.
And exactly. And we don't even want exclusivity for the podcast category. The fact that you're even looking, you or your manager or anybody else is looking at this through this exclusivity lens is the problem.
Yeah.
That you're missing the point completely.
Yep.
We're here to lift you up and
inclusive.
Exactly.
A brotherhood surrounding you, Kyle.
Exactly.
With love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the original conceit is power to the people.
Sure.
So somebody was like on Instagram goes, just get Oprah to fund it. And I don't even know what that means. If that was like an Eric Logan connection that he was trying to make as a joke. But the point is, Oprah has enough power.
Sure.
This isn't looking for somebody to give money to something. This is us taking back the power to the people.
It's putting $100 into Kaio Abelli and then knowing Kaio is surfing for you.
And then when Kaio draws Kelly in the heat, you know who you're rooting for.
And you got skin in the game. How many times in pro surfing have people, had skin in the game?
So when you have a fantasy team, it's a small version of that. So I view this platform, Project Abelli, as the NFT being like a fantasy league, but where you are invested. The surfers benefit from your investment.
Yep.
The surfers are out there. They're trying that much harder because obviously not only does their livelihood they will earn more money the better that they do, but their ancillary sponsors all get elevated through all of it.
Make surfers interesting again. Imagine the ones who are the most interesting that will be the one, who
there could be a surfer in 32nd place on tour that is making more money through this marketplace
because he's
than
more
the number
interesting.
one surfer.
Yep.
Totally. And because maybe he's doing antics.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm sold.
So let's do this.
Yeah. Project Abelli.
Project Abelli.
Starts
fully underway.
A whole new whole new era in professional surfing.
Now, I've never run a GoFundMe before.
Yeah.
I'm kind of anti GoFundMe in general. Not anti. They definitely serve a purpose, right?
Yeah.
Medical bills and stuff. But I am surprised, like the number of people that are listening to this right now. The goal is $15,000.
Yep.
If we get 100 people, actually if we got 1,000 people to put in $15.
Yeah.
That's totally doable.
Yeah, and there's no bottom line limit on the GoFundMe, right? You could put in $3 if you want, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, some people have already put in 100 or $20 or whatever. But I'm just saying, if 1,000 people are listening,
$15.
well more than 1,000 people are listening to that. We know that. So if just 1,000 of those people put in the $15, we can hit this today.
I mean, that's
and I'm just surprised that people don't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they know about it yet, though.
Okay.
We're giving people a chance to know about it here. Yeah.
Right now, Project to Belly.
And if you have $2, put $2 in there. I mean, I don't know what the cost of is. Is there a cost to donating?
No, there's no cost.
50 cents.
And all of the proceeds go to Kaya.
Yeah.
So this is all we're doing all the legwork just gratis.
Yep.
This is all for Kaya.
Yep.
So, and be a part of the disruption.
Own professional surfing.
Exactly. I'm excited. Do you want to see some of the merch?
Yeah.
This is the sticker.
Beautiful.
That we want to see on Kaya Belly's board.
Love it.
It is the Fox News. Somebody mentioned if the WSL is broadcasting on Fox Sports, which they do in certain regions, we'll probably get a cease and desist.
Oh, perfect.
It's fine.
Oh, totally.
That's a news story.
Yeah.
That'll end up as 3 articles on Beach Grit.
Are you kidding? 5.
And then the merch store is open to subscribers.
Very exciting.
I know.
How do you subscribe again?
You go to surfsplendorpodcast.com and click the subscribe button. There's a little side tab that floats with you, or it's up in the menu bar.
Sweet.
And it's $5 a month. You can avoid the pesky commercials throughout the show. But you also have first access to merch. So we launched merch last Friday, sent out an email to everybody. Here is everyone's favorite hat.
It's a beautiful hat.
Isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's embroidered. It's not just like sprayed on.
With the nice rope, the sort of nautical rope too.
Exactly.
Like it.
Make Chaz great again.
Love it.
Will you wear this?
Yeah, heck yeah.
It's like the band wearing their own
totally
T-shirt on stage.
Completely. I will fully wear that is totally awesome. I'm going to be that guy. I'm just going to walk around Seaside Market with my Make Chaz Grit again.
Did I say great? I meant grit.
Yeah.
Make Chaz grit again. Yeah. Black and white hat. Those are a hot seller right now. In your article about the Project to Belly, did you talk about...
I haven't written it yet.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've been holding.
I saw an article go up
till today.
I saw an article go up last week that was about you feeling bad for being a provocateur for the last 5 years or 10 years.
That was the one about my NFTs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my...
So what was the premise of the article?
Well,
because I didn't read it.
Every full moon now, I was enlightened. I became enlightened. And so every full moon, I have a moment of enlightenment where all of my nastiness goes away. All of my just shit-stirring ways, I become a vessel for light and love. And that's what I meant. That's when I meant NFTs.
That's the opposite of Teen Wolf.
Yeah, it's the opposite. It's exactly the opposite of Teen Wolf.
Okay.
Yep.
And is this...
I glow.
Is it... it's a cosmic event, or you intentionally decide that you're going to cleanse yourself?
It just happened. It was
Really?
a cosmic event.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just sitting there and just filled with light and love, David Lee.
And that's when you created...
And then I minted NFTs.
Wow. Okay.
With those lights and loves.
How often do full moons happen?
I think once a month, maybe. Is it?
Yeah, that'd be...
Oh, no.
That makes sense.
No idea.
Once a month.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're the one who teaches children. Man, you should know this.
I know. I totally should know it.
It is once a month, I'm pretty sure. Wow. Okay. Now, while I don't believe in, or anytime anybody brings up astrology or any crystal, they have crystals in their room for certain whatever.
Full moons.
I totally disagree with all that. I just laugh when I hear people talking about it. However,
weight and mass.
Full moons, they have the ability to
change
swing the ocean tides.
Yep.
3/4 of the earth is covered in ocean, or is it 2/3? I don't really know.
It's 3/4, 2/3.
Something.
Yeah. I think it's 3/4.
Might be.
A lot. It's more than
so
half.
It's moving the ocean.
Yeah.
Our bodies are 85% water, 95% water. I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers.
It moved me.
It does.
Yeah.
How can it not?
That's what I'm saying.
It has to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on those days that I mint NFTs, the whole point of this NFT, I forgot, is to make it so valuable that Eric Logan has to buy it as an investment piece, and then he gets a cake baked from love instead of a cake baked from spite. This is supposed to end up at Eric Logan's.
Why does he have to buy it as an investment opportunity?
I mean, it'll be so good.
But you can't own every investment opportunity.
You can, but this one is specifically made for him. And I mean, not for him. It's made for everyone, but it's made to get to him. And so if an NFT is running and it's made to get to you, then once Eric Logan has it, he can resell for 10 times value and make a lot of money from this cake I baked for him.
I feel like I need to buy it at $50. I need to buy it just so I could sell it to Eric Logan.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Eric will buy it at 60, but he should, because once Eric buys it, then Eric can sell it for so much money, and Eric then can profit from this cake that I baked for him forever.
So when it comes to our surfer platform, if are we going to design it so that Kaio has 100 shares and 100 different individuals can buy them for $20 each, or do you just?
I think you float the open market.
Okay, so somebody could buy all of the shares of Kaio, and then parse them out.
Yes,
got it.
Yeah.
And do we designate a certain amount of shares per surfer at the beginning, and do the shares? See, we're going to have to hire
an NFT expert is what we're going to have to hire.
A mathematician even, and a statistician.
Yeah.
Because
complex, the marketplace.
And that's the other thing is, man, I'm actually going to get really into this, I feel.
Yeah.
I think this is going to take over my life because I'm already interested in what Kaio's eating right now.
Sure. Do you think he's training? I follow him on Instagram now.
Of course.
Look at him.
Yeah.
I look at his fitness.
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does train.
He's looking good.
Yeah.
Who does Kaio come up against round one?
I didn't look that up yet, but I will. I will need to. So let's actually get into Oz, I think. We should talk about surfing.
We should.
Kalohe Andino is not going
Out.
to Oz.
Yeah.
He's injured.
Was he in Oz? I was confused.
Yes.
He was there. He was quarantining. Yeah, that's what it said in the article or in his press release.
So he injured his foot earlier in the year,
high
last
ankle
year,
sprain.
whatever.
Do you understand what a high ankle sprain is?
It's high on the ankle.
I've Googled it.
Something is sprained.
I Googled it many times in my life, and I still can't remember. I think it's one of those injuries that is like a real injury, but it's like, I'm not a doctor, but I think it like just is basic my leg is hurt.
Okay.
I think.
So it could mean a number of different things.
I feel that it can, but thankfully we'll have listeners who will tell me what exactly it means.
Tendons run
something like that
throughout your leg from low to high.
Yep.
And I think maybe you twist your ankle, but it tweaks the tendon higher.
Okay. There we go.
But not up into the calf.
Did you just use your intuition? Did you just deductively reason that one out?
The same way I figured out the percentage of water on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kalohe's out, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Because
the problem is this thing, I mean, it already was shaky.
Yeah.
The premise of this year being a world title year, again, with this weird Australian leg and et cetera, where I mean, it's too late to change direction, but they should just call it a Grand Slam of Australia. Who's going to win it? Like, it's not a championship. It's, you can win the Australian Grand Slam. Great. Mm-hmm. Right? You win 4 events, make it like Triple Crown. Perfect. I don't know why they're not doing that. Because now without Kelly, without Kalohe, who else is not there?
I don't know. I think they're all there. Other than that.
So, okay, it's just Kelly and Kalohe?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Kalohe, this would have been one of his good opportunities to win the season.
I looked. He was ending at trestles, I suppose.
That, but also he surfs marginal waves good. And if Nui's not great, if Narrabene's not great, he could benefit from those.
But I says on my last article, Kalohe doesn't want this year.
I know.
Like, Kalohe does not want the title this year.
Did he respond to that?
He didn't. But
did Matt Biolos respond to you?
Yes.
Calling him the cool his mom. Look was the cool mom who lets you do drugs at their house.
Funny, Derek got a text from him. It was a very kind text, but amongst other things, he said, let's see here.
And by the way, that joke was from a listener. listener DM'd it to us and said,
I mean,
hey, did you guys ever recognize Biolis looks like?
But it's funny. I got that DM to me multiple times.
Really?
Like so many people had the same idea.
It was an image of Biolis's look in Andy Irons and the Radicals, which is the full zenith of that look for him. He started merging towards that look for the last year or two, but now it's like he's growing his hair out long, probably like it was when he was young, but it's thinned out a little bit. So it's kind of like, it's got a different look to it. He's upgraded to like fancy frames.
Yeah.
So he's got these hip frames, but then of course he's aged.
But
so
and Matt Biolis I feel has always had an iconic Matt Biolis look, right? It's like the San Clemente surfboard shape rough, right?
Permanent 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah. Permanent 5 o'clock shadow, like hair that's not noticeable, I suppose. Like his hair is what it is, right? Just a short, semi-messy cut, nothing fussy about the hair. Yeah. 5 o'clock shadow.
But then his body, his physique is softened up, but he's still wearing punk t-shirts from his youth.
Yeah.
So it's like the fancy frames, the grown out hair that's thinned, the softened physique, but tucked into the adolescence t-shirt.
I feel that he's going to come back though. I feel Matt Biolis is going to come through the woods on this one and come out the other side with a whole new look that's going to be exceptional.
Like Madonna.
Yeah,
He's going to reinvent himself.
I feel so. I feel the time is now for Matt Biolis to, surfing needs it. Surfing needs a style icon. I feel this moment more than ever, it could be Matt Biolis.
Could be.
Yeah.
So what, did you find what he said?
Yeah, he sent a very kind text to Derek.
Laugh about it.
But at the end was like, I even have to agree how bad I looked in that Annie movie. So
I was going to compliment him in that Mick Jagger and Steven Tyler have adopted that look. Rod Stewart has adopted that look.
So maybe it's
a common thing amongst kind of high-level artists.
So then maybe I was remiss in even poking fun at all. I mean, maybe he is a style icon right now. Maybe his look is exactly what it should be, and I need to change. Like, I'm just trapped in some weird past.
Well, think about Steven Tyler right now. Steven Tyler, he's got scarves, he's got long hair that's like dyed with like a skunk streak down the middle, and it's like pinned up into a man bun. He's got guy liner on.
Maybe Biola should
start wearing face makeup.
I mean, I could see it'd be a good look, kind of. If you want a little glam, a little kiss.
Because we're wondering right now, is the look that he's going for, it could just be unintentional.
Sure.
It's a mixture of his youth and his aging without him knowing that they've merged. If he just owned it.
I mean, maybe he is. Maybe this is his look.
Now he's confronted. He'll have to.
I mean, but maybe he says, yeah, look at how this is sick. And you're going to be looking like this next year. And he fully could be right. How many styles, how many things have come where the first time you saw them, flow hose. And you thought, what are those?
Yeah.
That's ugly. Yeah. That is ugly.
Of course.
Then next year, you're wearing a pair of flow hose.
Exactly. Yeah.
All the time.
Yep.
Next year, I'm going to have slightly orangish hair. Just cut right about here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bangs?
Bangs.
All right.
And
let's create an NFT for your bangs.
Stylish readers.
People could start investing in it right now. Regarding Chloe's absence.
Who's your surf survival pick?
Kanoa.
Yeah. Did we talk about that last?
We may have.
Yeah.
But you like to talk about Ryan Callanan.
Yeah, but I didn't pick Ryan Callanan for this one.
You didn't?
I'm scared.
He's from Newcastle.
I know he is. But I saw, the Survival League's Instagram confirmed my fears this morning where it said, I got to read it directly. It was, you keep going for a minute.
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask you about is how much does the preseason edit, how much is that kind of a harbinger of somebody's success going into the year or the event? Because there's been a string of unbelievable edits this week.
From him especially.
Ryan Callanan's is insane.
My favorite surfer.
I know.
I don't pick duds.
I know.
I pick favorites.
And I overlooked it, to be honest. Even when you were hyping him a year ago, I was just like, no, I could do without.
He is the best surfer.
It's gnarly.
I think Ryan Callanan, I'm going to go out and say it. Ryan Callanan is the third best surfer on tour. Second best surfer on tour. All in. Not competitor. Surfer, full stop.
Who's number one?
John Florence, I think it's...
So you pick Ryan over Idolo.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bold claim.
Ryan
but
over
not for
Idolo.
your team.
No. Ryan, but so the Survival League post was home break and a bunch of hype. What could go wrong?
Oh,
like,
dang.
Which is, I mean...
They're trying to smoke screen because that's their pick.
I mean, for sure, but it is also home break with a bunch of hype coming in. What could go wrong? And Ryan Callanan, per my last and only discussion with him last year, I suppose, year and a half ago, Ryan Callanan does not like to go halvesies. Ryan Callanan likes to go all out. And so home crowd, going all out, coming off a hot edit. I just feel like, not that he's going to blow it, but that's what makes him my favorite surfer is he does not surf to the criteria.
Yeah.
And so I imagine him going big. I imagine him maybe not making it through.
That's the key with the Survival League is pick middle tier, like just reliable.
Not me. I'm picking top. I picked stinking John, I think, to win for pipe.
Well, you have your strategy. I have mine.
Yeah, I'm going best surfer on the table every single. I'm just going to go down the list.
So, but for the Survival League, you just have to not lose.
Yeah, precisely.
You have to survive each event, and I forget which round you have to make it through.
Yeah, but if you get kicked out, then you're done.
Exactly.
You're over.
But there's no benefit to winning the event.
No.
So Ryan Callanan, based on everything you just said, is somebody who could lose the first heat.
But this is what I'm precisely. But exactly. Ryan Callanan could lose the first heat. Why I'm picking the best surfer is that imagine that you were playing the game, right? And you're thinking, okay, I'm going to put in, because I don't want to burn, I'm going to save Medina or, Idolo or John for later on. Then you lose.
Right.
You can't use them. You're done.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is why the NFT platform is superior to all other fantasy type platforms is even if Ryan loses, he could be the most valuable surfer because he went all out.
Precisely.
That's why we love him
because it's somebody who gives like a fabulous presser afterwards.
Exactly.
Who doesn't just say rote things.
A post-interview expletive.
Yeah. And
Post-heat
boom,
interview.
NFT through the roof.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because said it once, I've said it a million times. Surfing is is about a lot more than surfing.
Totally. You've said that a million times.
I've never heard it once. Really? Surfing is about a lot more than surfing.
Maybe I just don't listen.
Yeah.
So how much does the preseason edit, how much of that is a harbinger for their performance? Here's what's happened this week. Callanan dropped one. Kanoa dropped one from Portugal.
How'd you like Kanoa's?
Yeah. It's exactly what I would expect.
Yeah.
And it's very good.
Yeah.
It's very polished, but it's
nothing new.
Nothing new, nothing unexpected. With Kanoa's surfing, while I'm a fan and while I have my money on him for this event, there's no point of difference in Kanoa's surfing.
Yeah.
So that's going to be Kanoa's problem. Breaking beyond the top 5 is Idolo has a point of difference. John has a point of difference.
Do you think the judges will ding Kanoa for his lack of difference?
No, but Kanoa will consistently get 7 5s in every heat, in every event.
Yeah.
But we've never seen him get a 10.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you think Kanoa kind of charges a little bit now, doesn't he?
I mean, he's made the Pipe Masters finals.
Yeah.
At least once. Maybe, I think maybe twice.
I mean, he's committed to charging though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe I could see him pulling into a big box tube, getting a 10.
We just haven't seen him get 10s ever. When you think of the highlight reel of 10s in your head, you think of Kelly Slater, John, Idolo, Gabriel, Felipe doing 2 alley-oops at
Owen Wilson
getting barreled. You know, you don't think of
Kanoa's.
You don't think
buttery turn.
But consistency is where you got Kanoa will beat everybody.
Yeah.
And you can win a title on getting 7 5s in every heat.
Sure.
But so Kanoa's at it. Yago Dora dropped in at it.
Did it make you feel bad for wanting to kick Yago off tour?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I'm a fan of his too. But how much of that, again, back to the original question, do you watch that and then go, I'm betting on this guy?
I mean, with Callanan's, he's the only one of the edits that got dropped where I would think you bet on that guy watching the edit. But again, with the insider knowledge that I have of liking to go big, not liking to pump the brakes. But maybe he's thought, okay, I'm going to pump the brakes now. I've gone big enough.
What about, why don't we see the women's side doing the preseason edit to hype the fans?
That's really a great point. I mean, I would love a Steph Gilmore clip edit.
And the opposite of releasing the edit is there's a number of surfers who are intentionally quiet preseason, which makes me think that it's actually a strategy. Some of them, it's probably laziness.
I mean, like, you never see anything from Gabe.
Definitely not Gabe.
Have you ever seen or do you remember the last Gabe clip? Can you remember one in your mind?
No. And
was he in Young Guns or something like that? Was he in one of those? One of those?
I don't think so.
Quicksilver?
No.
He wasn't?
No. He won the King of the Groms a couple of times, which was a Quicksilver event.
Yeah.
But like, think about Idolo in quarantine showing how he's working out and prepping, posting all of his clips every single day. These are all just like shots across the bow for all of his competitors. Whereas Kelly Slater, we have no idea what his training regimen is.
Yep.
John Florence, no idea. Gabriel Medina, no idea.
Kelly takes ice baths.
So now we have a little bit of an idea, right? And he does jujitsu.
Yeah.
So we know those.
Yeah.
But those are strategic decisions, right? And so which bodes better?
You know, I'm a heart on your sleeve kind of guy. I'm just let it all out there, because then you're not like playing mental chess while you're actually doing something. Just people know what you think. People know what you're doing, know what you're up to. You're just going to go out and beat them. You're going to go out and be the best you can be.
I don't imagine that Idolo could not wear his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
It's just a reflection of who he is authentically.
I mean, and I would imagine trying to bottle it up would make him all skits out and weird.
Totally.
Like, he would not be the surfer. He would not be his best self. That is his best self.
Totally.
Being out front.
So who are you betting on for Survival League?
I think I threw Medina up there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going with I'm not going to lose. I am not going to lose early. I'll gamble late. I'm going to guarantee myself a place in the, I don't know. And that's the other thing too. These stinking events keep dropping like flies. Or did drop like flies. I guess
it's hard to pick the season.
Yeah. So I'm just picking best on the table.
Should we do a segment on Dave Prodan?
We sure should.
Dave Prodan,
He's the chief. There's a lot of chiefs at the World Surf League. He is the chief brand and strategy officer or something.
The thing is, his title has changed over the years.
It has, but here, I'll get you exactly. Man, we're doing a lot of on-air research today.
That's all right.
It's great.
WSL's chief strategy and brand officer.
That's it. Lambast.
One of Dave's roles is he produces a podcast called In the Lineup, where he interviews.
Is it In the Lineup or just the lineup?
I think it might just be the lineup.
Okay.
Yeah. And this week he released an interview with Jordy Smith, and the introduction of pre-interview with Jordy Smith is what we're here to talk about.
So I went on to the worldsurfleague.com to go listen to the lineup. I had been texted and DM'd numerous times about the intro. Got to listen to the intro. So I went to worldsurfleague.com, found the lineup, clicked play, and it was just, I listened to like 5 minutes of him and Jordy jabbering, and I thought my ears were going to bleed. And I was like, wow, people wanted, like, what's the big deal about him talking with Jordy and fluffing Jordy? Like, I don't understand what this is about. Confused. Apparently you have to go on Apple Podcasts to hear the intro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that intro is not on the whatever he uses on the World Surf League. Yeah.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. So if you want to hear it, go to Apple or listen to it through Apple Podcasts.
Or probably through any podcast app. I would think it has the Apple version.
Yeah.
So this means that the WSL listened to his intro and decided we don't want this on our website?
I have no idea. Or maybe he thought that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you would have it on
two different versions.
Two different versions. Like, unless it somehow just, I don't know. Mystery.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a mystery. I'll ask.
So what did you hear on the Apple version?
So I heard Dave Prodan get very angry at the, I mean, like, you know, a typical Beach Grit headline, like trying to be as salacious as I can, like still within the truth. But, so my headline for this one was, let's see here, was World Surf League Chief Strategy and Brand Officer lambasts political right in Scorched Earth Screed. Quote, the number of conservative whining effing fascists in the surfing world, some of which hold esteemed positions in companies and on Olympic teams, is pathetic. Boom. A hammer. It was a
fascist
2.5 minute. I mean, should I read it?
Sure. Yeah. Read what you've got handy anyways.
I mean, I have his whole, what he said.
Okay. Yeah.
So Dave Prodan said, thank you to everyone who sent us notes on last week's podcast with Nick Carroll. Many of you saying it's one of the best we've ever done. And of course, as those who listened to it know, Nick was fantastic in it. The comments that the WSL social team pulled to promote, the comment that the WSL social team pulled to promote the episode on Instagram was Nick asking if online trolls in the surfing world were the counterculture rebels they so desire to be, or just their parents. A reference to the vitriol someone like two-time world champ Tyler Wright suffers for choosing to speak her mind. And that post, and you could still check this yourself, drew the now standard complaints from this very same community. And then Dave Prodan went to a breathless voice. All lives matter. Keep politics out of surfing. How great would it be to watch a surf contest? Shrug emoji. All of which unironically proved Nick's point for him. The number of conservative whining effing fascists in the surfing world, some of which hold esteemed positions in companies and on Olympic teams, is pathetic. He goes on and on and on. Should I keep going? It's enough. Yeah. He goes, yeah. He very, very, very fiery, which is very, very, very unlike Dave Prodan.
But he's ranting about the, quote, fascists who are complaining about politics being brought up in surfing.
Here's the thing, though, and this is so I listened to it. I calmly and collectively, no collective at all, just calmly listened and thought, at the end, and then thought Dave Prodan is wrong. What did you think?
In what way is he wrong? He's wrong for sharing his opinion.
No,
his
totally,
opinion is wrong-headed.
He's totally right for sharing his opinion. I think he was conflating a bunch of different things together into one like angry thing that was neither very constructive nor helpful, nor, I mean, I don't know. It seems to me like the WSL has done this, and I won't even use the word woke because I think woke is a loaded word, but the World Surf League has pivoted hard in recent months to be like the real face of, or not the face of, but be part of this progressive movement, right? With Black Lives Matter and with taking the knee and with all of this kind of stuff, which is all super great and fine for them. The part that is a little sticky, I think, is when they start selling merch based on their stand. Like, so now you can buy the poster of Tyler Wright taking a knee at Bell. Where was it?
It was in Australia during the QS events or the Challenger Series or whatever they call it.
So you can see Tyler Wright, or you can buy the poster, $99. So how much of this, it's easy, I think, I mean, I don't want to be negative about it, but it does seem like it's part marketing, part, really actually believing it. And maybe all that stuff is mixed up together. Like they really do believe it and they really want to market it and whatever, all fine and good. But what I think Dave did was paint with way too broad a brush, covering way too many people and throwing them in one way too huge basket and then singling them out. Like I think there is so much nuance into what he's talking about. And he just tossed everything into one basket and labeled them fascist in a very fascist way himself, right? Like summing up a large group of people that disagree with them, these people. And I think he joined the two issues of people saying keep politics out of surfing and then also people saying all lives matter, right? Because those are two different things. There is, conservative community or more conservative community, or just different from what he thinks, but I don't think he truly understands it. And then I think he just lit it on fire and kicked it out the door, which is...
You're right.
Which
you
is...
summed it up really well.
I mean, because the thinly veiled poke at Brett Simpson particularly, right? Like,
and Biolis.
But I mean, for sure, like conservatives at companies, Biolis and
part of the
Simba.
U.S. Olympic team.
Completely.
Yeah.
Which is, he didn't say U.S. Olympic, he said Olympic teams, but how many,
well, Brett Simpson's
is
on Instagram,
is out
filming. Yeah. Also, filming Trump rallies in Huntington Beach and giving them thumbs up and stuff like that.
I mean, he is, but
that's what he's referencing.
But and that's the whole thing. And so why is he like, and you know, if somebody, and I don't know why it was specific about Brett. Does Brett get on to WSL Instagram and say, keep politics out of surfing?
I don't think so.
I mean,
but he does pro-Trump Instagram posts on his own.
And so if you're getting frustrated at
by somebody in their own platform using their own thing
and or coming onto yours while you're putting your stuff onto their platform. I mean, so it just seemed like it was sort of an inappropriate response to a much more complex social issue that Dave oddly didn't deal with very artfully. I feel like he got caught up, which I think he feels he's right? Which is everybody's so stuck into feeling they are right and other people are wrong. And to me, that's what it sounded like Dave was saying. Like, I am right. You people are wrong. And like, just again, he said in there something about a white supremacist who just went and, you know, hate crime killed 8 Asian Americans or Asian women, you know, et cetera, where none of those things have been established at all. Like, we're all so quick to go, you know, there's no evidence that he's a white supremacist. Maybe he is, but, you know, let the evidence come out. There's no evidence that he killed those women because they were Asian American. Maybe it was, but everybody's so quick to color the world in the way they think it's supposed to be colored. All Trump supporters are racist. You know, all woke people are, you know, trying to cancel everything at every moment and take away my freedom. I mean, just these broad generalizations. And to me, that's what he just contributed to, again, this very, very, very broad generalization, and felt he was right doing it because felt those people are wrong and bad.
Yes, you nailed it. You summed it up better than I ever could have, but I felt all those things while I was listening, because there were moments of it where I was like, yes, I agree with that.
Sure.
And then he'd go off on, and I'm like, wait, what? I don't even want to be associated with that if you're saying, you know, and then you're right, balled it up and then kicked it down the road.
Yeah.
And everybody's entitled to their opinion. You and I do what he just did all of the time, but this is our private platform that, you know, you can listen to or not, and we're not beholden to anybody. Even our sponsors we've been canceled by, or we've decided not to have them back or whatever. So we're making all those decisions. So when I walked away from it, or once I stopped listening, I thought, this is representing the WSL.
Yeah.
So whether I agree with Dave or not isn't really an issue. And I like Dave as a person, and what he said doesn't affect that in any way. But what I was thinking about was, does this represent the WSL?
Yes, I think that's the WSL's official position on.
And are they co-signing it?
I don't think they. I think this is the thing. I think everyone at the WSL, from Eric Logan to Jesse Miley Cyrus to Dave Prodan to those are probably the only 3 employees left. This is their position already, right?
I'm not convinced it is.
I think for sure it is,
because Dave's was so much more passionate. I feel like the WSL at large is, let's say Eric Logan and Jesse's, is to be vague. Like, take a vague stance that can't be argued against. Typically.
But not anymore. Now it's Tyler Wright.
I think he went rogue.
No, it's Tyler Wright on the knee. They're pushing this out, and they got fed up. This is what I think. Institutionally, the WSL got fed up with people, you know.
Trolling.
Which, that's the thing. Like, calling it trolling, I think, if somebody's saying, I disagree, or keep politics out of surfing, or whatever.
Fair enough.
Why is that trolling?
Fair enough.
Like, if somebody is voicing an opinion.
Trolling by definition is when you are just doing it to get their goat.
Precisely.
But you're right. A lot of these comments are sincere.
And they're not
So
trolls.
they're not trolls.
No. And for Dave to call them trolls, I think
And fascist. By the way.
I mean, fascist conservative trolls and whiners is like, again, they were voicing their opinion. WSL as an institution, has shifted way hard this way. So I think it is institutionally the decision to do this, to put Tyler Wright out front. But for sure it
That's
is.
such a misstep as a business.
And they just got, that's.
So you think he wrote that screed?
Yep.
They all read through it and approved it and said, green light, go ahead and publish this?
No, he wrote it, read it. They listened after and all patted him on the back and hugged.
But then didn't put it on their website.
But I don't know. You see, there's a mystery there. I don't know why it was not on the website. Because if it's elsewhere, like it's not like they can say, well, the lineup is Dave's personal podcast when it's on Apple and all that, and it's also our World Surf League podcast when it's on.
So for the record, Dave used to have a couple of versions of a personal podcast.
Yeah.
This is a WSL production.
Yes.
So it does represent the WSL.
Which he said. He said the quote, in his rant, he said the quote that the WSL social team picked from the Nick, so it's the WSL's team is producing and promoting this podcast.
So I do have a problem with it if this is
here's the thing,
all
though.
greenlit and approved by the WSL, and this is part of their messaging as an entity.
I just think that they didn't, like, what he said didn't even raise any of their, like, what?
Which is crazy.
Because they heard it and they thought that is exactly what they think too, right? They are sick of these people.
This is our company's stance.
Yeah, wow. Like afterwards, the fact that it got picked up or that Beach Grit did a headline on it or that I did a story on it, they may think, okay, Beach Grit is, obviously they would consider Beach Grit a troll organization too, right? But I wonder how, if they have paused to think, oh, wait a second, maybe not all people think the exact same as us.
I thought Dave published that without getting approval on the actual copy. And then it went under the radar for a couple of days. You wrote an article about it, I think yesterday. And I thought by today, the episode would have vanished from the
No.
I thought the WSL would then go and re-listen and reinvestigate.
No.
And then vanquish.
Here's the thing though. It's clearly, again, with the selling the Tyler Wright on the knee poster and by really pushing Tyler into the front of, the most forward-facing part of the organization, they made a very conscious decision. And I wonder, maybe it's the right business decision, I suppose. Maybe the conservative, whoever Dave was lambasting, they don't care. They want all those guys to go away. They're sick of this negativity and they want to court a new, and they feel like if they can purge, it's like, was it Dirk Ziff, the grumpy local? Yeah. I think they've disliked as an organization sort of this, what they would see as this toxic male core. And I think they want to get rid of it and they want surfing to be, diverse and welcoming. And so maybe, they're like, all you guys, you're done, out of the room. And Dave doesn't care and they don't care as an organization. They're like, get rid of every one of them.
Third scenario.
Yeah.
What if this was all meant to activate and enrage a certain segment, the segment that is anti-WSL, the segment that he's vilifying?
Yep.
Simply to get eyeballs and talking about because I would argue, first of all, that was the most commented article on Beach Grit this week.
Yep.
So it did activate an entire audience. And I would argue that episode gets more downloads than any other lineup episode.
Can you see on a podcast how many people tap out after 2 minutes?
I can.
Can he though? Like, can he go in and look and say, oh man, we got 10,000 downloads on that one and 9,800 people tapped out after the second minute? It
depends which server they're using to upload. But yes, the certain providers do provide those stats.
But scenario 3 is no, because the WSL has never been provocative. They try not to be provocative. And furthermore, they don't know how to be provocative, and Dave Prodan himself doesn't know how to be provocative. Yeah. Like, being provocative is, I'm not going to pat myself on the back here, but takes a bit of skill, right? Being a provocateur. It takes a, you know, how to poke. It's like boxing, you know, I feel like you're jabbing, you got your opponent, and you're trying not to get hit, and you're trying to hit. Like, it's a dance. You can't just come out and try to provoke one day.
And you also have to not worry about getting hit.
Sure.
That's the other thing.
But I think
not be offended by getting hit.
The question I have is, what percentage of the World Surf League audience is the fascist whiner that Dave, you know, caught on fire? And what percentage of it is the progressive?
Well, if you looked at voting trends in the US, 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, but in terms...
And it's not, their audience isn't all US audience, obviously, but if that is one marker, I mean, and it is pretty down the middle.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah. And I wonder too, though, how many people, I mean, were you personally offended?
No.
Yeah. I wasn't offended personally.
Not at all.
I don't get
He wasn't
offended.
talking about me.
I was, but kind of.
I mean,
I would
like I said.
That's the thing. It was his brush was so broad that I think he was talking about you. He was definitely talking about me.
Well,
do you think he was talking about me?
Yes and no. I mean,
I think he thinks
Dave's a more critical person than what that rant.
Sure,
like a more critical thinker, a more nuanced thinker.
Dave, I know exactly. Dave would think that I don't get on to, you know, comment sections and say keep politics out of surfing, etc. But I stoke a bunch of other people to do it. That's what he would think.
Yeah, but if you and he had a conversation one-on-one, you would be able to break apart all that nuance and see.
I think
you'd be able to connect on a certain level.
I'm trying to either get him on this podcast. I know that he won't go on ours, but yeah, he said let's revisit after a couple of the events. But
did you talk to him after you posted that article?
Yeah,
okay.
He actually texted me, and then we had a nice exchange where I said, look, I mean, just exactly what I said here. Like, I think you painted with way too broad a brush and in a sort of unhelpful way.
Was he pissed that you posted that article?
No, Dave's never, I mean, it's one of the greater parts about Dave, I think, is plays his cards very, very close to the vest. Yeah. So you can never really get a rise out of him. I've never gotten a visible rise out of him.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I haven't ever gotten a rise out of him.
Right. What time do you have to leave? We're running late.
I'm good.
Oh, you're good?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, let's, covered a lot of ground here. Let's go to commercial break. We'll come back with Barrel or Not. Chaz, as we mentioned at the top of the show, ebay.com/sneakers and athleticgreens.com/surf.
You know what I'm going to do today, David Lee?
Improve your health. Optimize your health.
I already did that. So this is going to sound totally ridiculous. I mean, and feel free, listener, to shame me for saying this, but I really love that Athletic Green stuff.
Me too.
Like, I've been drinking it every day and properly. I mean, I'm giggling while I'm saying it because it sounds so dumb. I honestly feel better. Like,
it's weird, right?
I have more energy. Why am I doing this?
That's where it's from.
This is so dumb. I really feel bad actually selling a product, but it's really properly good.
So, our very first sign up, after we talked about this last week, should we say who it was?
Sure.
Britt Merrick.
Yeah.
Is an Athletic Greens user now.
You should be too. And so that's the thing. I feel so good. I didn't sell Britt Merrick a bill of goods.
That's what I meant to get at. This wasn't just to hype or to name drop. It was Britt texting going, hey, are you guys just BSing or are you actually into this product, right? And I go, well, there is an upcoming sponsor that Chaz will absolutely BS about. So this should be the game we play. We throw the gauntlet out there and be like, hey, listeners, here's our 5 sponsors coming up.
Which one?
Which one is Chaz? It's like 2 truths and a lie. Which one is Chaz fully BSing about? And you just went so hard on Athletic Greens that it could be a lie.
I mean, it is really properly though. It tastes good. Makes you feel good. I mean, I don't know how much time we have to talk about it.
We don't have to. There's no obligation for the amount of time. So speak to your heart's content.
I mean, it just really is a great product.
I'm a big fan too.
Yeah.
Like, here's the deal. The ad copy says it contains 75 vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients, including multivitamin, multi-mineral, probiotics, green superfood blend, and more. They all work together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet, increase energy and focus, aid with digestion, and support healthy immune system, all without needing to take multiple products or pills.
So great.
That sums it
Easy.
up. But ultimately, it's a green powder. You mix it with 8 ounces of water. If you sign up for the membership through our portal, which is /surf, you get a year's supply of vitamin D. So just drop a couple of little things of vitamin D. It's so easy, so quick. There's no cleanup at all. And you cover all of your health and dietary needs daily. It's a no freaking brainer.
I haven't liked a product this much since, I don't know, vodka.
And I like the taste of it.
Yeah, it's great.
I like the Sense vodka. You should mix them. You could be a mixologist and invent like something pretty important.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll try it.
I have done in the past vodka green juice.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can only do like 1 or 2 of them, but yeah.
So I like the taste of this as well. So athleticgreens.com/surf is our portal. And again, join Britt Merrick.
Yeah.
He's on there. Presumably, I can't actually see the names that come through, but he said that he was.
Yeah.
And then memberships started coming. So I think he might've been the first. And by the way, other surfboard shapers, Matt Parker was on this before we even started advertising him.
I'm telling you what, become a famous surfboard shaper.
Exactly. Join the elite ranks.
Yeah.
And then of course, ebay.com/sneakers. Everybody already knows the details.
I've purposed to go on and buy a pair of sneakers on ebay.com today.
Oh, that's what you were talking about at the beginning.
Yeah. I need a new pair. It's time to get a new pair. That's where I'm going to get them.
What void in your sneaker wardrobe is this going to fill?
The one of me feeling good when I wake up in the morning and not have to put on the same shoes that I put on. I've had the same pair for too long.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss what you're looking for?
No,
brand or style?
I'm going to go on and let the spirit lead today.
Okay. Last week you were talking about trying to find an equilibrium where you're selling enough to make enough to get free sneakers, kind of a thing. Did you see what our listener chimed in and said? That is called sneakwilibrium.
Oh, sneakwilibrium.
You're looking for sneakwilibrium.
That is totally
what you're
beautiful.
Trying to achieve.
He should sell sneakwilibrium to eBay.
I think we should just NFT it.
Yeah, boom.
We own sneakwilibrium right now.
We have to NFT. We have to mint it first.
Yeah, I know. But that's the plan.
I can mint it.
Okay, perfect. All right, so thanks to those sponsors, and thanks for what else? I don't know. That's it. Thanks for those sponsors.
Yeah.
athleticgreens.com/surf. Jazz, we're back.
So good.
You know who?
What a show today.
I know.
We discussed complex financial instruments. We've discussed the future of professional surf fandom. We've discussed David Prodan.
Politics. We covered politics. We covered health in our commercial segment.
A crushing show.
I know, it's pretty crazy. I got lots of feedback, or I think you did too, from the Can Dewey group about our conversations about Pat O'Connell.
Yeah.
Pat Big Ball O'Connell.
Yeah.
I always forget about the big ball detail.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. I feel like he needs to be Big Ball O'Connell.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I wonder if
that needs to stick.
What age would it be cool for him to totally take it on just as his, I feel like he's still a dad of young kids, I think, isn't he? Are they young?
Yeah.
I feel your kids get to a certain age and then that's it. Then you're Big Ball O'Con. Yeah.
You got to wait till the kid hits 18.
Yeah, something like that.
But it's already out there. Like they made an HBO documentary profiling his big balls.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It wasn't us.
Yeah.
We're not taking the blame for this. Anyways, the Can Dewey group was happy with us until this segment right now. Yeah. Basically, reaching out and saying, we appreciate the banter. Here's where you were wrong.
Yeah. Where were we wrong?
I don't even remember at this point. I mean, it was all speculation anyways, so it's probably mostly wrong.
Yeah.
But Florence Marine X is coming.
Yeah.
Simple Shoes are coming.
Yeah.
Pat O'Connell is the president.
So those three were right.
That's all that matters.
Most important stuff.
That's all that matters.
The sailing gloves they're going to make is not correct.
Probably not. Probably not. Them getting a corporate buyout from Nike is not correct.
Okay.
Maybe I said that.
Yeah.
I mean, Nike obviously bought
Yeah, but they didn't get.
bought and sold and Blue Star and all that. But yeah, there weren't individuals
Yes.
that got a big payout and then started this with that. What else? Okay, so I've got Barrel or Not. Is there any? We haven't talked about quarantine content in a while. Are you watching anything?
That's the quarantine content for us. I thought you were talking about watching surfers in quarantine, which is the least favorite thing in the world.
Not at all. I'm talking about.
I hate that. I hate what they're doing in their hotel.
What are you binge watching right now?
The Crown.
Oh,
yeah.
We watched it.
I started late, so
Do you like it?
It totally fills that gap of like something on that I'm 3/4 paying attention to.
Okay.
So yeah.
Documentary series that I watched on HBO recently that was pretty interesting was The Lady and the Dale. Did you ever see this?
No.
I'd never even heard of this story. It's a compelling story.
Wait, what? It's ringing a bell now.
This woman is the president of a new car company in the 70s. It's a 3-wheeled car called the Dale. And the idea was there was, the timing of it was perfect because there was this gas shortage, right? Oil crisis, gas shortage, gas prices are through the roof. And the Dale is supposed to get 70 miles to the gallon. And it's fully enclosed, 3-wheel, 1 wheel in the front, 2 wheels in the back vehicle prototype. And so they start taking all these payments for it, like deposits for this car. And it was going to be cheap. It's going to be like $2,000 or something. So they start taking all these deposits, but they actually haven't built a running model that works without rolling over or that actually gets the 70 miles to the gallon or any of that stuff. But they've got this marketing machine that's all hype that's like stimulating all of these deposits coming in. And they're taking on all this venture capital investment. So they're just building these they're basically have millions of dollars in investment, millions and millions and millions, tens of millions. And they're using the money to hire the engineers and all that sort of stuff. Well, come to find out. So it's, there is a question when something like that happens. It happened with WeWork.
Yeah.
There's always a question of, are these just shysters who are going to run with the money, or are they actually going to deliver the product to the market? And this will revolutionize the car industry. Well, come to find out, all these little indicators started coming out that the woman that was running the company was not who she said she was. Turns out she's only recently a woman.
Nice.
She was born a male. And that male has this huge track record of criminal history.
Wow.
Of just ripping people off from like the age of 9.
What a story.
Yeah. And like changing his name multiple times, ultimately getting involved with a mob and then transitioning from male to, not only changing his name once again, but transitioning from male to female.
Did he transition because he was in fact trans or just to hide?
Who's to say?
Okay.
He'll say absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. But he always fully believed every lie that he told, So, and so that's throughout the documentary, they're interviewing kind of leaders in the trans community or visible people in the trans community who are saying this is problematic to have somebody like this be your spokesperson in the 70s who had, whether or not she was sincere, it still colors the public's perception of trans people.
Yeah.
This is the most visible person in our community. And we're not even sure what their true, authentic, it's really, really compelling.
Okay. Is it HBO?
It's on HBO. It's called The Lady and the Dale.
Okay.
The Duplass brothers production.
Oh, nice. I like the Duplass brothers.
I like those guys too. And I guess I remember seeing a news story a year or two ago that they got like part of the HBO Max, like building out their content. They gave those guys like a 3 or 5 picture deal. And this was, I think, the first of those.
Great.
So yeah, The Lady and the Dale.
Nice.
Super solid. Yeah. By the way, do you want to see the merch that's available to subscribers?
Heck yeah.
This is the first ever The Grit Podcast t-shirt.
Nice.
The Fox News logo, of course, provided by a listener.
Love it.
So obviously merch was made available to subscribers last week. It'll go to the public in a week or 2.
I don't think we'll get a cease and desist for our logo.
You don't think so?
I think it just needs to be a certain percent different, and that percent is not very great. And I'm sure obviously it says The Grit, not Fox News on it.
Okay, but the fact that I always promote it as the Fox News logo spoof, does that get us into hot water?
I don't think so. I think we're allowed to do that all day, every day. Look at all those skateboard decks. Remember how skateboard decks used to be straight up just ripoffs of everything.
Yeah, but what happened with them?
I mean,
they got away with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Did you ever watch that show, Nathan For You?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Nathan Fielder, do you know who he is?
No.
Oh my God. This show was so good.
Nathan For You.
Nathan For You.
Okay.
I can't even explain the concept of the show because it's so, you just really have to watch it. But he does this episode he tries to create a knockoff Starbucks.
Yeah.
And
I'm already liking it.
it's really good. And there's something called Parody Law.
Yeah.
So like you can get sued for copyright infringement unless it's a parody.
Yeah.
So if it's intentionally kind of making parody of something, so he creates an entire Starbucks, same color logo, same exact font, the menu's entirely the same, but he calls it Dumb Starbucks. And then you can order a dumb cappuccino and a dumb mocha and all this stuff. And it freaking works. And sure enough, and they like open the store and like they have a huge party to kick it off. There's lines out the door.
Starbucks sue?
Yeah, Starbucks. Well, I forget how it ended up in the end, but they definitely like sent the cease and desist orders. Lawyers came down, all this stuff. And they had part of the TV show was they had their own team of lawyers in place already, detailing it to the Starbucks lawyers, just being like, nope, this operates under parody law. We already got it cleared. Here's everything. Here's all the legal documentation.
That is amazing.
Like, yeah,
I
fully
really
worked.
like that.
It was
I like
really good. Nathan For You. It was an amazing show. They only had like 2 or 3 seasons.
We should start a dumb WSL. We can get all the same surfers. We'll just pay them more. But maybe that's what our NFT thing is.
Could be.
We just do our own tour and we'll say, hey, these guys, we're not in competition with you. You can't make them not surf here.
Well, I don't think we even make our own tour. We just follow their tour and trade off of their tour.
Oh,
we have the platform that trades exactly what we said.
Rebroadcast everything. Just call it Dumb WSL.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
With our own commentary.
Dumb Joe Turpel.
You could play him. All right. Well, I think we should go to Barrel or Not.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite segment. This one came from a listener. Barrel or Not, hanging your wetsuit from your side view mirror for your drive home.
Ooh, I'm going to go barrel. I'm going to go barrel because it shows such disregard. Lose this wetsuit, got another 20 in the garage. Shows a real, that you are a man or a woman with many surf things. Like it.
Does it depend how far from the beach you live?
I mean, I think it would be assumed you're not going on the freeway, right?
So does that change it? If you saw one on the freeway, is it now not barrel?
I'd like it even more.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be a stand-up, hand-drag roof barrel.
In what scenario do you need it to dry that quickly?
Well, I could see that I've been surfing more this week than I have in a while. Really getting my surf reps in, and I don't like to put on a wet wetsuit, especially it's been a brisk wind blowing in Southern California, chilly. So
if you're doing it 2 a day.
Yeah, if you're doing 2 a day or you're doing every day, because it's hard for a wetsuit to dry overnight.
You don't own 2 wetsuits?
I do, but even both of them, cycling through them, and one is still always wet, even though it's only getting surfed every other day at this point.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess you're right. I was going to say no barrel, but I have plenty of wetsuits. I never have to wear a wet wetsuit, thankfully. I solved that problem, I'd say, a decade ago in my life because I realized how miserable that was. But this really represents somebody who is so hardcore and maybe short on funds.
Sure.
This is a very unique segment of the population who is doing this thing.
Which you don't see
purely for function.
And you don't see it very often.
You don't. And nobody's, of the people that you do see doing it, nobody's doing it to illustrate to all the other drivers that they're a surfer.
Nope. They're
doing it for function.
They have 20 minutes, this 20-minute drive, and that's going to dry their wetsuit 20% faster, and that is worth it.
For them to get the afternoon session.
Exactly.
So this is barrel.
Super barrel.
We highlighted a hardcore surfer amongst us.
Barrel. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Thanks, listener, for that one.
Yeah.
Barrel or not? Kelly calling you out for dodging a barrel.
Ooh.
This is his new thing.
Did he do it again?
The one that he did in Miami was not the first.
Yeah,
I've seen him doing this. He's tagging Barrel Dodgers Anonymous on Instagram weekly.
So here's the thing. This is a complex one, right?
It is.
Because Barrel Dodgers Anonymous is one of the funniest Instagram accounts, in my opinion.
The concept of it alone is amazing.
And the way they write their captions, like it is very, very, very funny and very, very, very well done. So I like that Kelly is driving traffic there. The problem, in classic Kelly fashion, it is such a, like all Kelly's trying to do is make himself, again, look good. Or I guess not himself, like he's trying to shame other people, really. Or, I mean, obviously he is. And by pointing them to a parody account, I suppose, he can be like, well, I'm just having fun here. But really, he's like mocking people who aren't as good as him.
So this, right where you left it off, leads us to a previous Barrel or Nah from months ago, maybe a year ago, where this is Kelly in like you only make fun of your friends from high school or your brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is actually Kelly's embrace of you. If Kelly's making fun of you for dodging a barrel, it's because he's holding you accountable because you dodged that barrel and he wants you to level up.
I disagree.
I want Kelly to
I disagree. I think Kelly is just shaming people for the very sake of shaming.
For the sake of elevating his own, keeping his name in the conversation.
And Kelly Slater doesn't dodge barrels. Yeah, is the subtext.
I would feel honored if I dodged a barrel.
And Kelly called you out on it?
If somebody then happened to film it,
Yeah.
if it then happened to end up on Instagram, and then Kelly happened to comment, I would feel honored.
That bro's particular barrel dodge was a pretty rough one.
Here's the deal. He didn't fully dodge it. He just wasn't in it.
I mean, and it wouldn't
So that's the thing, though. There's a detail there. If the wave is barreling and you go down to the bottom and around it, and it's like barreling right next to you, that's a proper barrel dodge.
Yeah.
This guy just didn't take off deep enough, and so he was soul arching, but he wasn't in the barrel. The soul arch makes it egregious.
I mean, that's the problem, is he was looking at the roof that was kind of there.
It was just over his head.
Yeah. I mean, but it was a nice pose. If he would have been fully barreled, it would have been an awesome pose. I would have liked it.
Yeah. So this is a unique barrel dodge because it was all about the soul arch when you're not in the barrel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But back to Kelly. I'm going to say Kelly calling people out for barrel dodging is no barrel. Leave people alone, Kelly.
So if you barrel dodged and it was on Instagram and Kelly called you out, you would not be happy?
I'd say, fuck you, Kelly. That's what I would say.
I take it as a compliment. I'm all in. I want to get called out. I'm going to start dodging barrels and hiring filmers. I'm going to go to El Porto, use Eric Logan's filmer.
And just start dodging everything.
I'm going to walk up to that filmer on the beach and be like, hey, I'm going to be right over there.
Yeah, dodging.
Look for me.
Yeah, it's good.
Barrel or Not. Taking a break from social media. This is related to a couple of news stories.
Yep.
Donald Trump. He's been off, but he's coming back.
Oh, is he? He's getting his Twitter back?
Nope.
Oh,
Not Twitter.
He's starting his own.
He's starting his own. That's the news story. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. But.
Taking a break from social media. No, barrel. I'm going to say if you have a big enough problem with social media that you need to take a break, then you should be off full time. Then you should take a permanent break. Otherwise, manage your damn social media time appropriately, like an adult.
Do you track how much time you spend?
On social? No, but the problem for me, I suppose, as opposed to others, is social is a chunk of my work.
I know.
So, like for me, it my social media time feels like work. It doesn't feel like pleasure. No, I mean, and my work feels like pleasure though. So, yeah, no. All to say,
it's all pretty convoluted.
It is way convoluted, but I don't consider it, when I'm on social, I'm not considering it wasting time.
Okay.
Yeah. Rarely do I just scroll through Instagram randomly just because.
Right.
And I'm never on Facebook and I'm never on Twitter.
Right.
But
do you ever take time off work then is the question?
No. I was thinking about that. I had a mental breakdown last week and in it thought, man, like, I wonder if part of it is because I really do. 7 days a week, basically every waking hour.
Well, in this last year or few months, you were down in Cabo and you were still working while you were there. You were in Jackson Hole a couple of times, still working throughout that entire trip.
Yeah.
So even when you go places, you don't stop working.
Don't stop.
And you even design a way to make that trip a work trip.
Don't stop, can't stop. Yeah. Do you ever stop working?
Never.
Have you taken a proper vacation where you like didn't work?
Over New Year's, we went to Paso Robles for like 3 nights, I think.
Yep.
And that was kind of the most of it.
Yep.
And I think I did not work while I was there. But no, I don't.
I'm sure there's very many listeners listening to me talk about this as work and just laughing, saying you do 0 work.
I agree.
That's what you do 7 days a week of it because you're not working.
I do agree that a lot of people legitimately work harder than I do. Yeah. I'd say the vast majority of people do. But it's a different type of hard.
Yeah.
Like being on all the time and communicating all of the time incessantly is, it's not physical labor, but it is its own type of exhaustion. And I chose it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to dig ditches because that sounds miserable to me. And I admire the people who do. And I'm grateful that they do or throw out our trash or whatever it is, all of the various jobs. Go to war for us. That's something I don't want to do.
Yep.
And so I'm grateful that there are people that do that thing, which is why I've chosen my thing.
Do you think on his next podcast, Dave Prodan is going to call us whining effing fascists for talking about how much we work?
He would be wrong if he did. He's more than welcome to call us what we actually are. And there's a lot of insults that are available there. But we're not that whiny, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're fascists. I'm not fascist.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not.
Yeah. But he's welcome
Yeah.
to throw barbs.
Weigh in, Dave.
All right. So taking a break from social media.
No barrel.
No barrel.
If you need to take a break,
manage it.
Manage your don't take a break.
All right.
Specifically manage it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks to Album Surfboards for hosting us as always.
Such a beautiful, I like that now listeners, if they go to become watchers, can oftentimes see Matt Parker himself in the background.
I know, we're
plunking away.
We're in a glass bowl here.
Yep.
They could probably read his emails over your shoulder.
Yeah. If you zoom really in. Yeah.
Thanks to everybody for participating in Project Abelli. It's on GoFundMe or surfsplendorpodcast.com. You can go there and get it.
15 grand. Let's get it up there.
I mean, honestly, that's knowing the number of people that listen to this, we should easily be able to hit that number.
If we don't, it'll be shame on us.
It really will be.
Yeah.
It'll be shame on the people.
Yeah.
The people, this is our opportunity to take back power, prove the concept so that moving forward, we shift all of the power into our decision-making hands.
Amen.
So let's do this for Nui.
People rise up.
And Newcastle starts on April 1st. So by the time we're recording next week's episode,
hopefully
we'll have,
Inshallah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. All right, Chaz, until next week.
Get barrel.